ABC News, good morning, I'm Sallese Gibson. Upper House MPs are likely to pass tougher laws for police evasion offences after the second late-night sitting this week. With just 2 sitting weeks left before the long winter break, the Legislative Council is considering numerous bills. Last night, MLCs debated a police evasion bill that will increase fines and possible jail terms for drivers who evade police. Windermere MLC Ivan Dean successfully moved an amendment that will give police longer to enforce charges.
Police at times cannot identify the drivers, and that's the difficulty they have. As I said, they drive with hoods on, they drive with hats on, they cover themselves in the vehicle. So while the police might be able to identify the vehicle, not always easy to identify the driver.
Labor MLC Josh Willey tried to move an amendment to keep 14 to 16-year-olds in the youth justice system, but it was not supported.
If you're coming at this from a hardline approach, there is actually no benefit to leaving 14 to 16-year-olds in the bill because there's a caveat there that none of the penalties will apply to them.
The King Island Mayor doesn't believe the freight vessel servicing the island is equipped to handle the route. The Investigator 2 has been servicing the island since early this year, but local residents don't believe it has the capacity to meet the island's freight needs. Bass Island Line, which operates the service, has confirmed the Investigator's ramp hinge was damaged at sea yesterday and that repairs are needed. King Island Mayor Duncan McPhee isn't surprised the boat couldn't handle the notorious Bass Strait conditions.
A bit of the front of the boat fell off. Now, and they couldn't unload, okay? So I'm just laughing because there's a bit of comedy in there. Now, on the serious front, they've poked it back to Devonport. They reckon they can turn it around within 24 hours and get us back in the game again.
The Meander Valley Mayor says building a prison in northern Tasmania would bring economic benefits to the region. Labor's alternative budget included a $40 million proposal to build a new prison in the north. Mayor Craig Perkins says the Ashley Youth Detention Centre is the logical place to build a new prison.
It's obviously, provides employment opportunities and not just directly, but indirectly in terms of servicing a facility such as that, and depending, I guess, the size and scope of it.
The Immigration Minister Peter Dutton has come under fire as thousands of international students fear their futures in Australia are at risk. Private training college, the Royal Gurkhas Institute of Training, faces closure after failing to comply with its accreditation responsibilities. The institute has campuses in Hobart, Melbourne and Sydney. Greens Senator Nick McKim says the government must provide visa assurances to those international students affected.
That is a matter for the Immigration Minister, and we need to make sure that Peter Dutton doesn't go off half-cocked here and start deporting people as he loves to do.
A new government report has found illicit drug use is increasing among over 40-year-olds while falling among teenagers. Jake Evans reports.
The popular image of drug use may be inside a dimly lit nightclub. But the latest Australian Institute of Health and Welfare report says it's among people over 40 where drug use is increasing. Since 2013, the number of Australians over 40 who have used drugs in the past year has risen 2% to 16% of the population, and over 40s are more likely than under 40s to have used. Meanwhile, teenagers are smoking less and drinking less than 3 years ago.
Scientists at the CSIRO say a newly compiled record of greenhouse gas levels over the past 2,000 years will allow other agencies to more accurately analyse the link between those gases and climate change. Co-author David Etheridge says the report measures the 43 greenhouse gases that contribute to human-induced climate change, and it's the most complete record of its kind. Ice cores from Greenland and Antarctica were part of the study, and Dr Etheridge says there's an increase in all gas levels since the industrial era began.
The purpose of this paper is to take those concentrations that have increased and then to drive physical models of climate across the globe to then simulate the climate and to compare that with the warming that we have observed.
You've been listening to ABC News.